USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Learn more and get a quote at USAA.com/bundle. Restrictions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
War Eagle, and welcome to another edition of Ever to Podcast, your source and opportunity to get together with us here at E2C Network to discuss the Auburn experience on a mostly regular basis on the weekdays. I am your host, as always, Kyle Loomis, back with you for episode 6 as we continue to get used to this new pattern and this new show, and we hope that you all are enjoying it. Today is May 19th, Monday of 2025, and we have a lot to catch you up on from the weekend. I'm sure many of you are very informed about some of the things that happened and some of the things we're looking forward to this week. Mondays are just a good day to kind of recap and get ready, gear up for what's going to be potentially transpiring this week and prepare us for what we don't know yet. New news items and things to talk about and topics. That's the great thing about the Auburn experience. Auburn sports, Auburn culture, Auburn family stuff. If it's orange and blue, it's what we do. As always, we want to hear from you. If you want us to cover specific things or answer questions on this show, DM us on social media or email us at e2cnetwork@gmail.com. So obviously, let's catch up a little bit with what's been happening. Very, very busy weekend as we left you in the last episode with baseball, softball, track and field, women's golf. Anna Davis was out there competing. We had plenty of things happening out there to discuss. We're not going to be able to cover them all in great detail, but obviously, let's start off with this by acknowledging a couple things that have officially ended. Very quickly and briefly, Anna Davis, I believe, I haven't gotten an official update online as of us recording this at around lunchtime on this Monday, but it looks like her time as an individual competition out at the NCAA Championships for women's golf has come to an end, 3 rounds, and it looks like from the scoreboard that she has not met the cut, but not by very much. She was close to making the cut for the next round, at least it kind of looks like based off the scoring. But either way, we knew that was going to be coming to an end very soon. So that is one thing on the Auburn athletic calendar that is down, but congrats to Anna Davis for making it out there and representing Auburn and Auburn women's golf. The other thing that has officially ended as of yesterday was Auburn softball. So obviously we're all aware of this being the first year under the Malveaux, or the coaches Malveaux, as I call them, since they're co-head coaches, Chris and Kate. And with that comes a lot of excitement, hope, and unknowns for the future. We now sit here with the season completed. They sadly did lose to Florida State in the Florida State Regional of the NCAA tournament first rounds. So with that in mind, kind of just as a recap, they did not have a great start, losing their first game in that regional, and they moved into a situation where it was win and go home. Well, they took it all the way to the maximum of what they could outside of making it out of the regional, beating everybody else and eliminating them that they had to come up against, which included Robert Morris and why am I blanking off at the top of my head right here at this moment? But anyway, who beat them in the first game. Florida State obviously was the big figure there, being the host. The Auburn Tigers beat them in game 1 and forced a penultimate game to make it out of the regional. And I do believe that was the first time that Auburn had beaten Florida State, Auburn softball, in a NCAA tournament situation, whether it was regional or not. So that was a big accomplishment there for the Malveaux. We've looked at the entirety of the season on our podcast and things like that, and we've looked at what might be the prospects coming into this year. And I've often talked about on the podcast, I spoke with someone with pretty intimate knowledge of what the makeup of the roster and the program is looking like under the team. And he was very optimistic and warned me and said, look, there's going to be some bumps in the road just because it's a changeover, but there's going to be some exciting things too. And boy, was he right. A great non-conference play, Very rough start to SEC play. But then they ended up beating people that they shouldn't have. And when they would get down in certain games, they would, find their way back. They had so many comebacks, even in this tournament. And certainly they gave Florida State all they could handle, weren't able to get some runs scored in that final game, and so they end up losing. But listen, I think in a year one, making the tournament as a 2 seed with how challenging the SEC softball field appeared this year, every SEC team made it, by the way, to the NCAA tournament. That should tell you something. And Auburn was at the bottom of those groups as a 2 seed. That should tell you something. That's an impressive feat for the Malveaux and for their players, for their staff, and we're very, very proud of them of what they did. So the softball season has come to a close alongside, as we just discussed, women's golf. Those things are starting to slowly get chipped away here as the athletic calendar year slowly comes to an end. But one of the good things, if there is a good thing about something ending in Auburn sports, is that it helps you maybe focus a little bit on what is transpiring still, and that is Auburn baseball. Obviously, this past weekend, you've probably heard by now, they did not win the series at Ole Miss, the final regular season, but they did get the last game of the season. So I guess there you go. There's a little bit of consolation prize. So I think that was a little disappointing for people, the way Auburn had been playing, especially offensively, that they would be able to overcome Ole Miss even on the road. But the great thing is they still have plenty of baseball left to play. It is SEC tournament time. So if you are in the state of Alabama, hey, man, you got something really cool, especially the Birmingham area at the Hoover Met. SEC baseball is back, and Auburn is going to be in it. Keep in mind, we discussed this on the podcast last night. For those of you that haven't either checked it out or ever checked it out before, please do. So I won't go into great detail here, but essentially, it is no longer double elimination, single elimination. Everybody's in. Nobody's left out this time. We had a debate on there whether or not we like this new format. You guys let us know. But Auburn is going to be the 6th seed in the SEC tournament and will be on the bottom half of that bracket. Single elimination all the way through. They will play the winner of Texas A&M and Mississippi State, which you've played Mississippi State previously. You won the series against them. I can't remember. I don't think we played Texas A&M this year. They're having a much rougher year than they had last year. So you probably feel pretty good about the first game you have for Auburn, which will be Wednesday, the last game of the day. No time yet. Saddle up, folks. The game before it is at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, which means you're probably pushing 9, 10 o'clock before we even get close to a start, if everything stays on time. For the Auburn game. If they were to win that one, which we hope and believe that they can, they would take on a rematch with LSU, who they've already swept this year. Can they do it a 4th time? That's going to be interesting to see. But Auburn versus LSU would be a fun rematch, and it would be a fun rematch with Sam Dutton again for his former team in that type of format in the SEC Championship. Would be another cool storyline. And then from there, it just, you start playing the guessing game. Arkansas, obviously being the number 2 seed, would be by the chalk format expected to come out of this. That would be who Auburn would face if they were to make it that far, most likely, unless chaos happens. And then you look at the other side of the bracket, Texas probably coming out there. So Auburn's path, if it were to have a path in the most likely chalk format, would be Auburn. If they upset LSU, then Arkansas, then Texas. We'll see how that happens. The good thing about this, and we talked about this in the show, the 2 teams that swept you this year and gave you the most fits, Georgia and Texas, they're on the other side of the bracket, and they will eliminate each other. Thank goodness. So I'm excited, though, for SEC baseball and for the opportunity for us to be in Hoover and showcase why the Auburn family is so great, because we show up and show out to these type of events in such a great way. And we'll be updating you on that as much as we can this week. Now, final thing here. This is something I've been saving. It's not necessarily new news, but there was a graphic put out last week by On3 talking about, and this is things we do during the offseason because we're bored and we need things to talk about, but top 10 upcoming college football non-conference series. And this isn't just talking about next year, but I think on this list they have, it's not even anything for the next couple of years. These are later years. So they have on this list Alabama, Ohio State. They have Nebraska, Oklahoma. They have Texas, Notre Dame. They have Florida, Notre Dame. There's a lot of Notre Dame on this thing. That's interesting. Notre Dame's getting a lot of pull on this. But at the very bottom of this list, on number 10 slot, they have the upcoming Auburn versus Miami matchup as one of their top 10 upcoming college football non-conference series. Most of you have probably forgotten that that's coming up. You've got Auburn versus Baylor for the next 2 years. We lost that UCLA series, so that's got to be filled. But then after that, 2029, 2030, Auburn and Miami. I'm really looking forward to this one. I was super excited when this was first announced several years ago. So I would love to know from you, what are you guys interested in this one? Obviously, Auburn currently in its state needs to kind of return to form. Miami looks like it's returned to form. Coaching situations could be different on both sides. All of it, we're still so far away from that, 4 years away minimum of that particular matchup of the first one even happening. But it's nice to see that Auburn and Miami are in such high regard in some media's minds as a potential awesome matchup for the college football season. Just something I wanted to point out and bring to your mind as we need things to talk about in the football space during the offseason. Couple reminders for you. We do these on most weekdays. I say most because life happens sometimes, but we're doing pretty good right now. So make sure you are subscribing and listening in every way that you can here, and give us some feedback at e2cnetwork@gmail.com. Feedback, questions, comments, topics that you'd like us to address from you. We'd love to make this show about you, the listeners, and what you want to hear us talk about on a daily basis. Final reminder for you, as we addressed during the show, The Auburn Experience, which is our main podcast of everything that we do here. Episode 125 came out last night, this morning. If you watched it live, it was a great one. If you're catching the traditional format, download, subscribe wherever you can on this particular. It'll be in the same feed as this one, but make sure you go listen to that one. Some great topics there with some controversy discussed and things too about expectations for football and comments that were made around it, which has been quite interesting the last couple of weeks. So that's what we have for you today. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 6 of Ever to Podcast. Until we get to talk to you again, War Eagle.